Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are tuning in from, I want to welcome you to another edition of Gordon in the Morning. Please drop a note in the comments and let me know you're here. I'd love to connect. I'd love to say hello to you. Doesn't matter whether you're watching live or on the replay. It's great to know who's watching, and I appreciate you. It's Trailblazing Tuesday today, a day to shake the dust off the ordinary and ignite that fire inside you to do something extraordinary. Today, we're digging deep into what it means to break the mold and chart a course where none existed before. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a creative professional, or someone who just knows you were meant for more, this one's for you. So let's talk about what it means to be a trailblazer, not just someone who gets ahead, but someone who redefines the game. You know, if you've ever been told that's not how it's done, or nobody's ever done that before, well, that's a good thing, because maybe you are the one meant to do it. Today's about embracing that identity and taking action. Now, here's our quote for the day. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail. That's from Ralph Waldo Emerson, American essayist, philosopher, and leader of the 19th century transcendentalist movement. You know, Emerson wasn't just offering a poetic turn of phrase. He was issuing a challenge, a call to action, a dare to go off script and design your own way forward. You know, in today's world, where algorithms dictate trends and industries reward playing it safe, it's easy to forget that innovation doesn't come from imitation. It comes from inspiration, followed by bold, decisive steps that break things open. You know, if you've ever felt a spark to do something different, something against the grain, but you've hesitated because it didn't fit the mold, well, today's quote is your perfect permission slip. So let's explore how trailblazers aren't just rule breakers, easy for me to say, they're path makers. So why is this important? Well, here's the big idea. Being a trailblazer isn't about ego or rebellion. It's about responsibility. You know, you see something missing in the world, and instead of waiting for permission, you go out and you build it. I was talking to a podcast creator the other day, and he was saying, you know, you shouldn't wait until you've got the perfect microphone. You shouldn't wait until you've got the perfect setup or all of that, that it's important to just, you know, do it. And he was talking about how he had done his first 10 or 20 episodes sitting in his car, holding a recorder in his hand. And my thought was, yeah, you know, if you have a message to share, if you have an impact to make, if you've got a reason to touch people, something to share that will help people, you have an obligation, I would say, almost a duty to do it, to share it. And imperfect action beats, you know, the striving for perfection every time. Because if you're always waiting for a perfect moment, guess what? You're always going to be waiting. You're never going to actually do it, because perfection doesn't exist. It's impossible to achieve. You can get very close, but in order to do that, you have to really start. You have to practice. You have to work your way toward perfection. Nobody ever starts out perfect. Nobody ever starts out with the ideal. They develop things over time. So, you know, it's tempting to look around and just mimic success, to follow templates and scripts and blueprints, and those have their place, but true motivation, true impact, that comes when you say, what if we tried something different? What if we did it this way instead? Trailblazing is a kind of leadership, but not the kind that demands followers. It's the kind that just creates possibilities for others and invites following. So why is this important? Well, because the world doesn't change by copying what already exists. Because your greatest success will come not from following someone else's footsteps, but from trusting your instincts and carving your own. Because when you blaze that trail, you invite others to walk it. And that is how movements begin. If you're tired of fitting in and feel ready to stand out, congratulations. It's time to embrace the responsibility of a trailblazer. So here's a couple of real-world examples, a few lesser-known but deeply inspiring trailblazers who've dared to rewrite the rules. I've mentioned Temple Grandin before. She was born with autism at a time when society barely understood that condition. Grandin transformed the livestock industry through her revolutionary designs for humane animal handling. She didn't just fight for inclusion, she created systems that never existed before. Grandin's brain worked differently, and instead of hiding that, she used it to her advantage. And today, she's a professor, author, inventor, and advocate who's left a trail that helped countless others. And then there's Jerry Lawson. You've probably heard of and probably played some video games, right? But you may not have heard of Lawson, the African-American engineer who led the team that developed the first home video game console with interchangeable cartridges. Lots of others thought it couldn't be done, but Lawson imagined a future where games weren't hardwired into the machine, but could be swapped out. And that innovation paved the way for every console that ever followed. Debbie Sterling, the founder of Goldieblocks, a toy company on a mission to get girls interested in STEM education. Sterling was frustrated by the lack of engineering toys geared toward young girls. So rather than complain, she built her own product line. She faced skepticism. There was rejection, industry inertia. But she forged ahead, and her vision created a new market and a movement. All these people, they didn't follow maps, they were drawing them. And here's the secret. You don't have to be an inventor, engineer, or entrepreneur to be a trailblazer. You just have to be someone who's willing to step forward when others hesitate. Someone who sees differently, dreams differently, and dares to act. It's not about being the only, it's about being the first in many instances. So, how can you actually become a trailblazer in your own life or work? Well, here are a few strategies. First off, question the default. Start with the things you've just accepted as the way things are. Just ask yourself, is this really the best way? Oftentimes, innovation starts with interrogating these assumptions. In your industry, what is it that's considered normal that maybe shouldn't be? In your daily workflow, what processes are outdated or inefficient? In your mindset, what limits are you placing on yourself? Trailblazers are the ones that question what others take for granted. So embrace the fog. There's no GPS for the frontier. When you're doing something no one's done before, clarity comes from movement, not contemplation. Waiting to be 100% sure will leave you in the rearview mirror of someone else's progress. So take imperfect action. Build the bridge as you move across it. Trust that the path reveals itself to those who are willing to move. And build in public. One of the fastest ways to blaze a trail is inviting others along for the ride. Be visible and public about your process. Share it. Document your experiments. Let your community see the wins and the setbacks. Not only does this create trust, it creates momentum. Trailblazing doesn't have to be lonely, and in fact, your courage gives others permission to try too. So take a deep breath with me and repeat today's affirmation. I am a trailblazer, forging new paths with courage, clarity, and conviction. I walk boldly into uncharted territory, knowing that I'm creating a future that only I can design. Let's do it one more time. I'm a trailblazer, forging new paths with courage, clarity, and conviction. I am a trailblazer, with forging new paths with courage, clarity, and conviction. I walk boldly into uncharted territory, knowing I am creating a future only I can design. Say it out loud, write it down, let it sink into your bones. You weren't made for following, you were made to lead bravely. So there it is on this Trailblazing Tuesday. You've been reminded of your power to reimagine what's possible. You've heard stories of people who refuse to accept normal as the ceiling, and you've been given the tools to start carving your own extraordinary path. So here's your challenge for today. What's one area of your life or business where you've been playing small and following instead of leading? And what are you going to do about it? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's support each other. And remember, the road to greatness was never meant to be well worn. That's how you know you're on the right one. Until next time, keep on blazing that trail. You've got this. I'm Gordon Firemark. This is Gordon in the Morning, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.